Sunday to all of you. I hope you had a great weekend. We're wrapping it up, trying to get another stream in before we start the grind tomorrow, as we all do. Most of us anyway, right? Sanjay, my co-host, how are you today? How was your weekend? This was a short weekend for you, right? Because
It is.
yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. I had a long week and a short weekend, so I'm not looking forward to tomorrow. But
Yeah.
I'm happy we're doing the stream.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Weekend was good. Didn't do much. Just shot the Railmaster video and posted
Yeah,
it.
I got to see that when I saw the alert. I haven't gotten a chance to take a look at it. We'll do tonight. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I know how much that watch means to you. So,
Yeah.
but
I
go
mean,
on. I'm sorry.
I didn't mean to spend as much time as I did on it. I got home and I started editing, and I spent like 4 hours, just went like that. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh man, I got to spend it with my kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, tonight on my wrist is my evening watch.
Grand take on
Yeah.
nice. Nice.
The SBGY 003 manual wound spring drive. Uh,
Very nice. Very nice. So a couple of things now that I want. Well, I'm gonna before I tell you what I'm wearing.
yeah,
Do you find? So you mentioned that you spent a lot of time, more time than you should have, with the editing of your Railmaster. Do you find that when you really, really like a watch, that you put a little bit of more pressure on yourself during the video or during the editing of that watch, or no? Do you treat it basically the same as any other watch?
uh, yeah. I'd say I treat it a bit more special.
Yeah,
Not a whole lot more, but yeah, I would spend a bit more time, especially if it's a well loved watch by me. Yeah,
yeah,
for sure. How
yeah.
about you?
Yeah, a little bit more pressure. I
Yeah.
mean, more that I just want to get it right.
Yeah.
So there's so many times when I do videos, and then at the a few days later, if I rewatch it, which I typically don't, but if somebody mentions something in the comments, I always leave. I always have the tendency of leaving something out. Now, I do so many retakes that at the end of the day, if it feels good after I'm done, I just go with it, right?
Yeah.
I don't comb through it and make sure most of the time. I do some review of it, and now I do the pop-ups, and that helps kind of like make light of some of the what I leave out or potentially a mistake that I made. But when it's something a watch that I really really like, I want to make sure I get it right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a little bit more of attention. And speaking of watches that I really really like, I just picked up this one, the Zin 903.
Yeah.
Really really head over heels over this watch. And before we start to get into all the topics and the comments and the reviews, um, I having this watch. This is my third Zen, and I remember, like, not even it hasn't been that long ago where I totally believed in brand diversity, like not having one or more of one brand in my watch collection, right? And that kind of has changed a little bit. I have three Zen. I'd probably there's a couple more that I may want to add down the road, not anytime soon, but down the road. And I was thinking to myself, or is that has that gone to the wayside? Like, am I past that, thinking that I need one of every, or not one of, but like not multiple of one brand? And I'm looking at my current collection. I have a Girard-Perregaux Seahawk was my first luxury watch, and I'm like, I could get a couple more GPs. Like, I love the Laureato. I would definitely get a Laureato. Would love to get a Laureato one day. And then there's the model, the Richeville, which is, I believe, a discontinued model, but I would get that. I would get that, especially now with the pricing on those. It's very reasonably priced.
Yeah.
So I think I'm done with like being a strict brand diversity kind of guy. As someone who has multiple Grand Seikos, right, and
Yeah.
multiple Seikos, right,
Not anymore.
or not anymore. But
Anymore.
have you ever had that brand diversity kind of like stance like I did, um, or it doesn't matter to you? You just get what you like, and if you like multiple Grand Seikos, you get multiple Grand Seikos.
Yeah, I used to be brand diversity, like really bent on brand diversity, just one watch per brand. And for a good while, I was kind of pigeonholing myself into that,
Yeah.
and I went through somewhat of a crisis just because of that. And I was talking to a few buddies, and they said, you know what? I have this Tudor, I have this Zenith, I have this Omega. They don't make me as happy as the Grand Seikos I have, and I really have all these Grand Seikos that I want to experience, but I'm forcing myself to keep these watches, and I can't experience those watches.
Mm,
And there came that point where I said, you know what? I'm going all Grand Seiko, and there was a point where I just had Grand Seiko,
okay.
and slowly as the funds build it back up again, I bought another Tudor here, and then
Yeah.
you know flipper that I am. I don't even remember what I have or had back then, but yeah, I now I don't have that kind of rule.
Constraint. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm happy to own multiple of any brand. In fact, I kind of like to own multiple of one brand. I was doing like the pillars of each brand for a while. It's kind of broken now with Grand Seiko because I got rid of my high beat, but I wanted a high beat, a 9F, and a spring drive from Grand
Yeah.
Seiko, and then I was going to go Oris because that was like my not my second favorite brand. I'd say my third favorite brand because Omega is my second favorite, but they're way more expensive.
Yeah.
So yeah, Oris was going to be my next three pillar watch brand, but yeah, stuff happened.
Yeah.
And yeah, so now I encourage myself to own multiple of one brand. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Let's check the chat, and guys, tell us how you feel about brand diversity. Is it that important to you or not? Love to hear it. Hey Peter, how are you? Bruce, what's going on? Junior Johnson, how are you, sir? B Dev, Scott, my man, how you doing, buddy? Daniel, Chaz from the Berg, Clayton, some of these guys I was talking to before on the Discord before we got on, so it's good to talk to them. Then we have okay. It seems like everybody's oil money. What's up? Kick that mule, Bobby. Okay. Riss Ross, what's going on? Yeah. So how long was Rick on the punters today? Was it over
Yeah,
2 hours? Because he's
I
got an
think it was
extensive
3 hours.
collection. Yes.
It was the duration of my editing the video because I was editing while listening to them, and they were still going, and I was almost done. So
that's awesome. Hey, Roar, what's going on? Nilo, how are you, buddy? Josh, what's up, man? Hope to see you on here soon one day. Again, it'd be nice.
yeah.
Rasan, almost 3 hours. Chaz is saying I have 3 sins also, so my watch diversity plan took a detour. Yeah. Bruce just short of 3 hours, but
Right.
it's an awesome show you got there, Bruce, and Thomas and all that. Watch yourself saying diversify your portfolio. True with maybe stocks and finance, but maybe with watches you could be a little looser with that. Joe saying I'm pretty stubborn with my one watch per brand rule, but that may change again every time I have multiple watches from the same brand. At least one has felt expendable. Yeah, okay. I mean, I think if they're also very similar, right, in style, that would probably do it too, right? So let's get started here. And first, we're going to do some comments, and we had just a couple of comments from the last stream. And can you see my screen, Sanjay?
Yep.
Okay, so Watch Talk, the Omega Aquaterra is a great watch, rugged, classy, and versatile all in one. And I think that's based on the review of the World Time, right? The
Yes.
Aquaterra World Time from last week. Yeah, couldn't agree more. I'm really a big fan of the Aquaterra. Sandra, you're a fan of it too, right?
Yeah, I know I called it boring back
Yeah.
then, but it was a small part of it's boring. I think the Aquaterra is great. Just to clarify.
Yep. Nick James, sorry to be a massive movie nerd, but "Hello, Clarice" is never said in the movie. It's one of the best examples of the Mandela effect. I did not know that. I always thought he said "Hello, Clarice." Like I thought that was a thing, or maybe that was I don't know. I'll take Nick's word for it though.
Hmm.
Um, he's self-proclaimed massive movie nerd. So, our buddy Wolfgang, Sanjay's heard of Rocky. That's good. No, yes, it is good. Double fist pumps there.
Yeah.
And Wolfgang again agree on Panerai as a fanboy corporate strategy from pricing to selling us recycled. Recycling as an innovation in watch industry is hugely disappointed. They haven't released a watch I wanted to add since the release of the now discontinued 978. So harsh words for Panerai from Wolfgang, but Wolfgang does know his stuff. He hasn't seen Silence of the Lambs. What the F? WTF? This is not okay. So I know Wolfgang is a huge fan of you, Sanjay. So he only
Yeah.
means it with love,
Oh yeah, I know.
for sure. Okay, let's jump into the reviews. Sanjay, kick it off.
Yeah. So reviews were kind of a little dry this week. I know a couple dropped today, so maybe we'll look at that next week. But
Uh-huh.
um, I really enjoyed the Breitling Avi review by Watchfinder. I know
Hmm.
Watchfinder keeps coming up, but they do really great reviews. So
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, they reviewed the Avi. I didn't know too much about this watch, so I was really uh, excited to learn more about it. I was pleased to hear that it's a one-to-one recreation of an old
Hmm.
watch. A watch that predates the Breguet Type 20. That was a big revelation for me.
Yep.
So it kind of put this watch on my radar. I don't know what do you think about it? Did you
I
give
thought
it?
it was I thought it was a pretty cool watch. Very classic looking. Got the modern vintage vibe, of course, because it's one for one. Redo,
Yeah,
reissue of it. I like it. I like it. I like the 12-hour bezel.
yeah,
Very thin, very like kind of like not flashy. It's just a not flashy watch. It's just subtle, right? And sometimes I like that. Sometimes I like that. This is not so subtle. This has got a lot of stuff going on in it, right? I mean,
yeah,
even the Breitling Navitimer version of it, you know what I mean? But this
yeah,
one is so not Navitimer, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's kind of cool to see, and I really do like it. And you could tell the Watchfinder guy, Smith. He's like this is his Grail,
yeah, yeah.
Breitling. You know what I mean? So when he says something like that, it's kind of very my ears perk up for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that was a great review. If you guys haven't caught that, take a look. Monochrome Watches did a great video review of the A Lange und Söhne 1815 thin honey gold. I again a watch that I don't even look at these watches because they're so expensive, at least in my head. Um, and this is really expensive, but I didn't realize it was 6.5 millimeters thin,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
it's such a beautiful watch. It's just a classic watch, a two-hander, no seconds hand. Just the I'm looking at a picture of it right now. It's
Yeah.
just a classic, Lange, and I I wish I could own one of those. It's really nice. Um, I know you didn't get.
I missed this one. I'm sure it was beautiful, and I'll
Yeah,
and I'll definitely go to check it out because Longa is just an amazing brand.
yeah, and honey gold. Oh, that
Yeah.
just the name sounds great.
Yeah. 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 Sounds like you want to eat it, right? Uh,
I could go for some honey golden toast.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and last up was this review of the Cherry Red Aquas. It wasn't really a review; it was kind of an overview and an
Hmm.
unboxing of the Cherry Red done by T3 or the time teller.
Yeah.
He asked some really good questions. He showcased the watch really well, and yeah, it was nice of us to send that to him so that we could get a look.
Hmm.
And it was just a friendly watch chat,
Yeah.
watch
Yeah.
review chat, and that was a good one as well. I
Yeah.
I actually considered this watch myself, or still am considering, but I don't want to own two Aquases in my collection, so it's kind of been put off. But yeah, what did you think?
Yeah. Well, as an owner of two Black Bays at one time, Black Bay 58s, the vintage and the OG and the blue, both great watches. Yeah, it's just it's a little too much. I he T3 was definitely, you could just definitely tell that he was really into the watch. He loves Oris as a brand as well. I thought it was kind of cool. I'm not a huge Oris guy, but I thought this watch was pretty neat. I mean, that red is definitely beautiful. You
Hmm.
got a 300-meter diver. I think it MSRP is for like 2,400, but I'm sure you can probably get a discount on that as well. And probably it's probably worth every penny, at the discount, at a pretty good decent discount of 20% or 15, 20%, whatever they discount. So
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it was good review. I mean, T3 could be a little bit much for me at times, but this kind of format, I like when he does this kind of format. It's not like his face is not in your face, and the editing is not all crazy, which is
Yeah.
fine at times. There's a place for it, but I like this format. I like to watch, and I liked his take on it for sure.
Yeah.
Oil money, no clarification needed, Sanjay. We all know you think that Aqua Terra is boring and that Manta is better than a Rolex. Oil money is going to give you a dig,
Yeah.
no matter what. Um, uh, Joe was considering another Zin. He's saying to Chaz, yeah, one watch I really regret selling is my Easy M3. So it's interesting that Joe's bringing the Easy M3. That's one of the, if I was going to move on a Zin, that I would look in the Easy M series, and the Easy M3 is a great looking watch for sure.
Hmm.
Um, and let's see here. Daniel's saying I don't like the bezel on the cherry black bezel, and yeah, I don't know. I didn't mind the bezel on it. The stainless steel was a stainless steel bezel, or like it
Yeah.
was at least steel color. Like it wasn't a black bezel insert or anything like that, of course. But I don't know. I
Those
kind of
were,
like it.
yeah, it was a Yachtmaster relief
Yeah, yeah,
bezel.
right. The
Yeah.
Yamaha, like embroidered or whatever they call that.
Yeah.
Um, I'm totally fine with the bezel.
Yeah. I like it.
Kevin is Kevin is saying get the Zin Arcus 206. Yeah, that's a good looking watch too. I just I don't know about having multiple chronos in the collection. But I mean, I always go back and forth with that. Rock the Watch is here. What's up, buddy? How you doing? So I caught some of that stream last night with you, Steve, and Watch Chris. Very good, very good. Um, Nefarian, a little too YM for me, and I love the YM. Yeah, maybe that's why I really kind of like it, because I am a big fan of the YM,
Yeah.
the Yachtmaster. So, um, yeah. Rancher is saying, didn't someone tell Sanjay that watch channels aren't supposed to have curtain windows? Hashtag respect our traditions. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I would have a curtain on, but and then you're getting the light reflection over here. Look,
Yeah.
look, I have like
A
mouse
halo.
ears. Mouse
Oh,
ears. Look at that.
yeah.
Or I'm a halo. Or yeah, I got a halo. All right. Um. Anyway, we're going off the rails here. It hasn't even started. Uh, all right. So, let's start with the meat and potatoes here, and we'll go to the first video this week. Now, 24 hours at a time put out a video about how he got tricked with a fake Rolex review, Rolex Hulk, that he did earlier on in his YouTube days, and so he basically said that he he reviewed the watch. It was doing well for him view wise, and his channel was small or very small at the time, so it was getting a lot of traction though, and he said that you know after he posted it, he got very quickly some comments saying that it was a fake, and that while he was filming it, he noticed that there was something a little bit off about it, and that could be revisionist history, or maybe he actually did feel that there was something off. But then after a while, he decided, and the watch came from somebody he knew, who he trusted, and who was a seasoned watch collector. He ended up unlisting it because he just didn't feel like he was doing a proper service to the community. I mean, even though the watch was um, getting a lot of traction, he said a lot of views, and it was hard for him to take it down. But he still took it down anyway. And then years later, he found out that it was actually a fake. Now, the person he borrowed the watch from at the time was telling him that it was definitely not a fake. But then he didn't really mention how he figured it out it was a fake. But it was. And so he made this video to kind of explain a way why that video has been taken down. And if you were looking for this video in the last couple recently, and you couldn't find it, and that's the reason why. And so he had a couple takeaways, right? He he said that he was amazed at the level of fakes, right? Rolex fakes, which we knew, but maybe now the quality of fake is getting better and better. And he said even the papers were faked, and box were faked, and it fooled this collector. And so that's why he goes to point two. What he learned is that even amazing fakes could fool seasoned collectors, and that maybe seasoned collectors, right, are so confident about their abilities to detect a fake that they wouldn't, after buying this online, go to their local AD to verify it, and so maybe, that's no matter how experienced you are, this is something you should do. And he said that he shouldn't be gullible next time. He should ask questions if he gets a watch in and he thinks it's a fake. He should go with his gut reaction and ask some questions. So pretty interesting video. I always wonder, about Rolex fakes and how prevalent they are out there, and now how it's moving on to a lot of other brands. What did you think of the video, Sanjay? What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was a great story, very entertaining video. I kind of at the edge of my seat. It was kind of wish he added a few more details. How he found out it was a fake. I don't think he would have incriminated anyone by doing so. But yeah, it would have been nicer to know. He said it was irrelevant, but yeah, it would have been cool to find out what happened. But yeah, it was. He even mentioned that he had the movement out on that video, and
Mm-hmm.
he got a few people saying, hey, that watch is fake, and he
Right.
didn't pay any attention to it the first few times because he thought they were trolls, and then the second or third time it was a trusted viewer, that he's a regular viewer, I should say, and that he kind of took more with more weight, with more gravity, and yeah, it's. I mean, I it was really it was really a good video, a good story.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wish he revealed a bit more.
Yeah. Like he didn't say why he thought it was a fake at the time,
Yeah,
right? And then he really didn't get too specific at all. Well, didn't get specific at all. He kind of brushed by like how he found out it was a fake. I think he did that. Oh, anyway, he didn't get specific enough, right? I mean, we
mhm,
wanted him on. I think he was trying just to protect the identity of this person that he knew. But yeah, I mean, I wish he got into a little bit more detail, because it seems like he could have just done a video, maybe because he needed to do a video, you know.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
It
but
was interesting that the movement was cloned too.
yeah,
So
right,
it would have been really a high end fake, to have the movement clone, because I know it's I know Jenny L has shown off cloned movements on
yeah,
Rolex watches. Watchfinder has, I think Bark and Jack has as well.
mm,
So it's not like it's a brand new revelation, but the Seamaster that we saw, that just one more watch showed, this fake Seamaster. That one, just had plates on it, and you could really tell when it was a fake. It was,
right,
it was glaring when you actually wound the watch and
yeah,
stuff like that. But this was a cloned movement, like the architecture was cloned,
yeah.
uh, or at least it sounds like that's what it was, which is scary again.
It's very scary, and it makes me like like I think there's a lot of watches I feel that are safe to buy pre-owned, sight unseen, right? But it's hard, with Rolex. Like, I mean, I think if I'm ever in the opportunity, have the opportunity to buy Rolex, or if I'm interested in buying Rolex, I mean, I think I'd go AD, but I mean, like, sports models AD is like almost impossible to get, right? So
Yeah.
so you do have some alternatives like a Davis SW or Bob's watches who are pretty reliable. That even that's kind of still scary for me, man. You know what I mean? Like, yeesh,
Yeah.
you know. Um, Justin saying Sanjay's working from the balcony of the theater. Justin, you figured it out. Actually,
Yeah.
Sanjay, his wife and his family, they do live in the theater.
The Opera House, the Sydney
They're
Opera.
the opera house. Yeah, they actually that's their day job. That's why Sanjay works 6 days a week.
Yeah.
'Cause, uh, I thought that was one new technology behind you, Rob. No, it's just a reflection. Yeah. Um, Sanjay is like the two old guys from the Muppets. Have you ever seen the Muppets?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Like
right.
the Peanut Gallery. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Bond said something was not quite right. Yeah, that's the guy's dog.
yeah.
It was kind of funny how he was holding him up. I thought, yeah. Anyway, Daniel, super clones are no joke. $500 can get you something that will trick most everyone. Yeah, that's a bummer, man. I mean, like I mean, you have homages, which is what they are. But these clones, these fakes, it just sucks, man. It just sucks. I mean, I feel for anybody who's ever been duped, and maybe I've been duped and don't even know it yet. I don't know.
Well,
Uh,
Mountain was it Mountain Standard Time? He actually got a fake Oris Aquas, like a crazy good
yeah,
clone of an Aquas. So it's just an Oris, and it was still like 1-to-1 cloned. That's mind-boggling.
yep. Pierce, yeah, he didn't mention why he felt off. He just said it just felt off.
Yeah.
The Farron Rolex with a solid case back makes it easier to fake. That's true. And even though in this video, this guy was talking about how he showed the movement, um, but it was still pretty close. I guess some people noticed that it was a fake, but yeah, I mean with a closed case back, it's definitely easier to fake.
Hmm.
As the fakes keep getting closer and closer to one-on-one, it will get to a point where you should only buy from an AD or someone you could trust implicitly that can prove they did the same. Yeah, I agree. Especially for me, especially with Rolex. That's so true. More true than it is with some other brands, but maybe that's just the trend that it's going to be like that with all brands, huh? Um, Most likely, owner tried to sell it, and maybe that's when he realized it was a fake, Daniel. And that's how probably, right? Probably that's probably why he didn't want to
Yeah.
mention how. I mean, that's definitely a good reason,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um, that the service is not telling community how to spot fakes. Very good point. I mean, and look, I mean, I think Daniel explained the real reason behind. I would bet my money that that's the reason why he didn't explain it was a fake, or tell him how he figured it out eventually. But
Hmm.
but you're absolutely right, Farron. I mean, the service is not telling. Yeah, I should have shared more. Yeah, yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you, Test Diver. Um, oh no, don't tell me tutor fakes are scary good too. Oh boy. Well, I got mine from an AD, so um,
Yeah. Same here.
super clones with clone movements really make me wonder why I still want to own a Rolex. Easy and cheap to copy. Yeah. Well, you have to get it from AD, Rick Ross. I guess that's if you're buying anything over 5K, you should probably buy it from an AD or a reputable dealer. Yeah. Daniel has not seen any good Seiko fakes, but that's good news for you, Sanjay, right? I mean,
For now, I
for
hear
now,
Rick
yeah.
has $9 Grand Seiko.
Caliber YQG, I got hit with 3 fake watches, all Fortis, 2 from England and 1 from the US. It'll be a very slim chance I ever buy another watch from eBay from England. Wow. So even Fortis, huh, that's crazy. Well, I mean, eBay is another it's still the wild west, right? I mean, I don't think I'll ever buy a watch from eBay. I got
Yeah.
to tell you right now. I rarely troll eBay anyway for watches. Um, but I don't know. Have you ever gotten anything from eBay, Sanjay?
No, no, not a chance.
No.
No, I
Yeah.
don't want to. I don't
I'm
want
just
to
not
do that.
savvy enough. I mean, I'm sure if you're savvy, um, you can eBay can work very well for you.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just not sure if I'm willing to put in the time. And if I'm not willing to put in the time, then I'm not going to buy anything from um, from eBay, right?
Yeah.
Joe saying I bought a fake Aquas a while back, red rotor and everything. Oddly, the only differences were things that would have been easy to keep consistent with authentic ones, huh?
Hmm.
So it looks like, yeah, Mount San pick yours. So it looks like Oris is there's a clone problem, a faking problem with Oris, huh?
Yeah.
It's easily fake.
Yep.
Just buy toxic watches that aren't fake that are faked. That's fine. Uh, Pete with a good point here. Also, a problem with designs that they never change, like Rolex and Panerai, makes it easier to recover costs.
Hmm.
All right. Speaking of Pete, one of your videos was picked by Sanjay, and let's put this up. So, not so obvious watches put out a video. If he had the opportunity to interview someone from Hodinkee, he's like, these are the questions that I would like to ask. Sanjay, this is your pick. I'll let you kick off.
Yeah, I wanted to mention some of Pete's videos in the past, but the last series of videos he did was how Omega could take down Rolex. Like he had a pretty funny thumbnail of a pack of hyenas taking down a lion. Um, but yeah, that was kind of like a PhD dissertation paper. So I think we'd all be here with a pen and notepad going, all right, note number one. So I didn't want to go down that route, but yeah, this video was great. I thought the questions were great, and I thought it would be a great video to talk about and hear what you guys in the chat and you, Rob, would think as well. But yeah, I'll go through the questions he asked real quick. His questions that he would ask were, he mentioned that the first four questions have a bit of a barb. So there's applied criticism or implied criticism in those questions. And so, yeah, the first question was they review and sell watches at the same time, and there is a absolute conflict of interest there, undeniable conflict of interest. What actions or what steps are they taking to control that conflict of interest? And I think this was the big one for me. I think it's the big one for everyone. How can there be an unbiased process of journalism when you sell that product? So that would be a question to ask. The second question was, they are by far the biggest influence when it comes to watches in the Western world or the English-speaking world, and they complain about how watch collectors focus on just a few brands. What are they doing to change this? How they do they acknowledge the power that they have, and what are they doing to change this focus? So I'll rattle through the rest of the questions. Third one was limited editions that Oris do. It seems like they are reveling in the hype. They're soaking it in. It seems like they're calculating when to release a watch and to extract the most amount of FOMO, fear of missing out, and to get those prices up, get those scalpers on eBay, and drive the market up so that they sell out. And it doesn't seem like they're doing much to combat that. And why would that be the case? Why are they doing that? Are they doing anything? Fourth one was the purchase of Crown and Caliber. They are capable of exposing the hot watch pre-owned market. And are they willing to do that? Are they willing to pull back the curtain and show what goes on behind the scenes with the hot watches now that they have access to Crown and Caliber? Fifth one was, is it possible to give a snapshot of what's going on in other markets, other cultures, the Asian market, where they have a Japanese office? This was the one without the barb. It's just an interesting question. How could you, have an exchange journalist, someone from the Japanese market coming in to write for the Western Hodinkee, and then, kind of talking about the differences, which watches are hot in the Asian markets, and so on and so forth. So those were the 5 questions. So I was curious what you thought about it, Rob.
Yeah.
Maybe we can discuss some of the questions, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I have also written them down. I did take notes. So I don't know the way I take a look at it. I mean, like, there's no way in hell you would somebody from Hodinkee will sit down and answer these questions, right? You know what I mean? Do we think that that's actually real? I mean, it's a great thing that I like. I love the video that Pete put out.
Mhm.
We need to ask these questions, not necessarily to Hodinkee, although we would love to get answers, but we need to ask these questions to ourselves about what they're doing, just so that we know that we're on to whatever they might be doing or not doing. I don't know, but it's a healthy exercise to ask these questions, and keep them in mind anytime I see anything that comes out of Hodinkee. Um, now, yeah, the conflict of interest, huge thing here, right? I mean,
Mhm.
obviously, you can't, you're reviewing watches and then you're selling at the same time. Watchbox does the same thing, right? To a certain extent, right? So they're not the only ones, at least here, doing this. So there's that as well. I think, I think the ethical thing to do if you're Hodinkee, now they're not a publicly traded company. They don't answer to anybody. They can do whatever they want at the moment right now, I think, right? I mean, I don't think they're breaking any kind of laws here in the States by doing what they're doing. But the ethical thing would be to spin off, like you hear, public companies spinning off portions of their a company off to the public market into a different company. It would make sense here if you want to keep the line separate to spin off this business, other business, call it something else maybe. I mean, you do want to probably attach the Hodinkee name on it if you were them because of the cachet of the name, but you spin off and you have clear separation between the media portion and the store portion of the business, right? So that you don't draw these questions of their impartiality
Mhm.
when they're writing news, right? I don't know. I don't know why would they do that. They probably wouldn't. But I'm
Yeah.
saying ethically, that's probably would solve a lot of questions, that people have. They are a huge influence, right? And uh, and so it just makes sense to me that that would be an appropriate action. But again, nobody's gonna, they're not gonna do it. Nobody can force them to do it. The feeding frenzy, I just don't buy into their limited edition releases.
Mhm.
They obviously know, and I think they are reveling in all the hype. I think
Yeah.
that's why they're doing it, right? Um, what are they going to do about it? I don't know. I don't think they're going to do a thing. Why would they do anything?
Yeah.
As long as people subscribe to Hodinkee and buy from their store, they're never going to change, and they're never going to answer these questions,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
So I like the exercise of asking these questions um, rhetorically, but we'll never. I don't think we'll ever get answers.
Yeah, but it is a service to the new watch collector to ask these questions, because it kind of points an arrow at the conflicts of interest, the questionable practices, and yeah. So I think it was a good video, because even though it might be you know a vain exercise, it might be just an exercise that leads to a dead end. But the fact that those questions were asked, and it's viewable publicly, is a good thing for any new watch collector who's unaware of these things to see it, and consider these things when they do read articles from Hodinkee. Because the only reason I go to Hodinkee is to maybe see a new release. I
Hmm.
consider Hodinkee uh, like the arm of every company, just press releases. That's all I
Mm,
consider Hodinkee for. I don't go there to get a balanced review of anything really.
yeah,
So yeah, to me the whole website is an ad. But to someone else, it might not be the case. And the fact that Pete asked those questions, is a good exercise, uh, good action of pointing the finger to get people to look.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, no, great video.
yeah.
Uh,
Great video, Kevin here saying I don't think they have the ability to be objective regardless of the Hodinkee shop. They are in bed with all the big brands and love being insiders. Kind of like an AD that also has used watch business selling secondhand watches they sell in their retail store for way over list, raises questions. Um, Watch yourself did a fake Hermes video. Go ahead, Sanjay. Do you want to
Yeah,
respond to something?
I was gonna say because you mentioned Watchbox and you know, a lot of the Tim Mosso reviews. I've noticed Tim Mosso doesn't really point too much at any fault of a watch. You know, something that he doesn't like, he'll just kind of, you know, not mention it. Uh,
Well, yeah, but I think, look, I try to remain positive in my reviews,
yeah,
and I don't slam watches. I know some people just are, maybe he's just a positive guy like that. I mean, right, there may be an angle. Okay, you're absolutely right. But I think also we should just consider that Tim is just maybe more of a positive guy. You know,
yeah.
and maybe some of the watches that he's reviewing, I mean, they curate, right? You don't see
Well,
poor quality watches, right? I mean,
it would be interesting to see how he reviews the Omega Speedmaster, the new one with the 3861, because he kind of slammed it on the live show.
yeah.
So when that video comes
Okay.
out,
Fair enough.
we'll get a kind of a
Yeah.
glimpse of, you know, what might happen there, because he slammed the fact that they took value away, they charge way more now for this Speedmaster, when they should have charged only maybe $200 more, because you know, and they took away the freebies, the loop, the natos, the box case. It's all gone now. So he was kind of really rough on that watch,
Yeah.
um, in the live show. So it'll be interesting to see.
Peter saying at me, you're right about the motivation. I think there's zero chance of actually getting an answer, but the questions remain. Absolutely, the questions do remain. And I think your video and videos like this, to Sanjay's point, will help the new collector, keep some perspective and stay grounded when they're consuming, because there is a lot to consume, especially whether it's in Hodinkee website or YouTube. There's so much information. um, at the same time, getting all this information is great. At the same time, bad information gets out of hand as well,
Yeah,
or information that has a nefarious undertone. Brownie, are people really buying Omega and other brands at retail from Hodinkee online? I can only assume they are, which is pretty wild with all the research available online pricing. True, but I think there is part of the market, part of the people who are attracted to Hodinkee who maybe don't really know a lot about watches and know about the hustle of getting a discount. So look, I don't know what that percentage is. Maybe it's a small one, and so they see Hodinkee. They've done a couple of videos with John Mayer, and boom, they're buying watches off the site without much knowledge,
yeah.
even though there is plenty of information out there. Um,
I know
okay,
when
yeah,
I know when I was new to the hobby, I didn't know where to go. I didn't know who to ask for. You know, where could I even find an AD? I Google just brand names, and you know, eventually I did find those ADs. I did make those connections. But you know, if I thought you couldn't get a discount, you know, I would have been liable to go to Hodinkee and just hit buy now, thinking that's the price. That's what I got to pay, and so be it.
yeah.
Yeah, good point.
Rancher, I just get mad at channels and sites that pretend to be watch journalists, but just end up eating the manufacturer's ad copy. Tim won't be critical because it's his inventory. Okay, a fair point. Rock the Watch, I think Tim is just presenting the watch for sale, not reviewing them. Yeah, I mean, he definitely is presenting. I do feel that he does, perhaps by his tone, um, will tell you whether he likes the watch or not.
Yeah,
Um, you know, and when he finds something that he really likes about the watch, he lets you know about it. So so I think in a way he is kind of still reviewing the watches, even though, like you said, it's a presentation. It's more presentation than review for sure, but you can feel whether he likes it or not. And I think, although that may not classically be a review, he does have some influence.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of influence on people,
What he
especially
does
his reputation. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm
what
sorry.
he does is valuable too, because
Hmm.
you get to actually see the watch multiple angles. You get a scale, and you know his. I guess his videos to me are kind of like why I go to Hodinkee, but in a different way. Like for me, if I can't actually see the watch in person, I go to Tommaso because it's kind of like me seeing the watch in person without really getting a review. You know, he gives the details and the numbers. Um, but yeah, in the same way, I go to Hodinkee as kind of reading a press release from a manufacturer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Daniel, I hate any review that doesn't mention any negatives. Fair enough. Kevin is more to the side that he thinks Tim just gives you the facts, not too many personal preferences in his reviews. The only watch seller that points out negatives of watches he sells is Mark from Long Island Watch. Um, let's see here. Let me get a couple more in before we go into the next topic. PC Rancher. Curiously, I get comments from viewers mad I'm not reading everything off a spec sheet. Crazy. Yeah, I mean, look, yeah, I mean, you're never going to be able to please everybody, right, Pete? You know how it is. So just keep doing what you're doing. We love your stuff. So okay, so let's jump to the final topic. Jeff McMahon, very popular guy on this show. His his inner confliction,
turmoil.
conflicts, turmoil is so entertaining, and not because not in a sadistic way by me, but just because of I identify. um, so he just came out with a video. Is this his last hurrah for his weight loss and Seiko? And I like that he talks about some of his personal struggles and kind of fits it in with his watch addiction. And so this is something that is very hits home with me a little bit, not necessarily with weight loss, but with like what he calls like body pride and management. And so like I'm 47. I'm going to be 48 later this month, and so things hurt now more than they used to. Sanjay, you're in your prime. You're thinking, wow, this guy's an old guy. He's complaining about aches and pains.
No,
What is he talking about? You'll get there, my friend. But
I feel like
I
I'm
hope
already
in well, that's because you have three kids, man.
there.
That'll do it.
Yeah,
Um, but he's thinking, he's about to turn 60 soon, or this year, and so he's trying to manage his weight. He was up to 230, he cut his carbs, he's down to 220, he's trying to get down to 200, and it's like this is this his last hurrah to be able. And I took it like last hurrah, like last real run at an ability of doing something like losing weight before he gets into his 60s. Like I think, is this my last hurrah? And my last hurrah is in regards to fitness. I'm trying to deadlift 500 pounds by the time I turn 50. So 2 years from now, is this my last hurrah to do that kind of stuff? Because I don't think I'm going to be deadlifting after the age of 50. It's just, I don't need to. I could do other things, functional training, that kind of stuff makes more sense than weight training for me at this age, for me personally. So I wrestle a lot with this, I'm getting to a point where there's last hurrahs and things, right? Um, and then he spins it to Seiko, and he's talking about like a diver that he has, and he calls the one generation of divers, the dressy divers, a dressy torch generation that has great loom, and saying that now how like Seiko, you know um, you have let me see, I wrote it down. Um, More expensive, less loom, more quality control problems. You know, um, so is this his last hurrah with Seiko? And he doesn't know. He doesn't really answer the question. So much. The watches that he's had that are a few years old are much better quality. He feels than the newer stuff. It's funny. It's funny. He uses the analogy of the Volvo with Seiko increasing their prices. Is like Volvo his father was telling him back in the 80s, was very, very, inexpensive car, but they were trying to compete and getting out competed by um, Mercedes Benz and BMW. And then once Volvo started to raise their prices, they actually started selling more cars. So it's an interesting effect, and so he's not really, he was questioning whether this is his last hurrah with Seiko, because some of the newer um, dressy divers that he likes doesn't have his great loom, and the quality control is not there. Anyway, so I want your opinion on this video, Sanjay, and I would also love to hear from the chat. Um, do you guys have a last hurrah? Are you going through that kind of like thing right now? Anyway, I'd love to know, because I feel your pain if you're going through it. Sanjay?
Yeah, it's kind of a downer of a video, because when you really think about it, you're thinking, it's the last hurrah, being like the last cry before going downhill to the grave.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a downer. Just the just the lack of hope.
Yeah.
You know? But I don't know. It was. It's like chasing air. So what if he gets down to 200, right? I mean, this was a question I had when I was a teenager with my teenage angst. So what if I get a job, become an engineer, make tons of money? I'm gonna die anyway, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I was a bit down on this one, but in a sense, I it's sad to see that last grasp for hope.
No, I mean, we're just talking about. He's just talking about his weight loss here. You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
think he's lost. Hopefully, he hasn't lost hope for anything else.
Well, he was talking about his 70s too, right? Like he said,
Yeah. Well,
when
he's
I hit 70, am I just gonna eat all of the apple pie
yeah.
and just forget about my weight? Because because I mean, if that's the case, why not enjoy your apple pie right now while
Yeah.
while you can taste it?
Yeah. I think Jeff has a hang up about the way he looks.
Yeah,
Not in a superficial kind of way. I think it's just him personally what makes him happy. He's got this vision of himself. I don't think he's superficial in
yeah,
any way at all.
no,
But I get what he's talking about. Like,
yeah,
I get it. And I think that comes along with the older you get. Maybe you think about some of like regrets you've had in your life. Um, you know, and not to get deep here, but we all have them, and you may not come to that conclusion when you're 20 or 25, because you're in your prime, or 30, or even 35 or 40. You know what I mean? Like there's and then like at my age, like people who are dying. I mean that there's like 48-year-olds. There's no like 48-year-olds dropping left and right. But like like people who are a little bit older than me that have been around all my life, that I looked up to, that are getting sick and not get are dying, and it's just yeah, man. Is it the last hurrah for this particular thing? You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Um,
And with the Seikos, I kind of get what he was talking about, because I had
mhm.
that. I kind of went through the Seiko product catalog.
Yeah,
I've owned a lot of Seikos, and I don't own. I own one, and it's a
yeah,
vintage piece now,
yeah.
because I can't. I can't. I'm not signing up for quality control issues, poor
Yeah.
loom, uh, and
Higher
more
prices.
expensive. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not one
I
of the
hear
guys
you.
signing up for it.
No, no,
So
absolutely right.
yeah,
I long for the days, and like I'm not a big psychopath, right? Or whatever they refer to
yeah,
themselves. But I've had some good Seikos in the past, and I've had the Star 33, and man, I wish I still had that watch, because well, no quality control issue there. You don't have a bezel, right? The timing bezel, but it was a good looking watch, and now those watches are so up there in price, right? And yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I'm done with Seiko. I think every once in a while I get tempted. Um, it's like a guilty pleasure, right?
yeah.
But I'm mostly done with Seiko too. I've had my last hurrah with Seiko.
I don't
Um,
think I have. I'm not done with Seiko. I'm kind of voting with my wallet right now. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna buy any more Seikos until they get their act together. So
Okay.
I'm not
Fair
gonna
enough.
support it. Once they actually tighten up their quality control, I would be happy to buy back that Marine Master 200, the all steel, the Steel Master.
Yeah.
I miss that watch. You know,
Yeah.
I wish it was good, um, or the one that I had was good. But you know, I'll wait it out.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. You know what? Actually, if they came around with quality control, and they have no reason to because they still sell a lot of watches. But if they did, I think maybe I would come around. I think I'm with you. But for now, I'm done with them. I'm done with
Yeah.
them. Kevin is like, wait till you were 57. He went for a run today and can't stand straight tonight. Yeah, I hear you, man. Uh, Thomas, I like Watchbox too. Nefarian, Tim's videos are the best. I don't watch many of the others. Kevin here, Bobby Legs, 750-pound personal best deadlift by age of 55. Kevin, I know I've always hated you. I hate you even more now. I'm kidding, Kevin. That's awesome. That's awesome. Um, Kevin S. Where's all the money when you need them? All right. Okay.
Now I know how old Kevin is. So
Yeah, yeah.
I remember calling him buddy once, and I was like, "Wait, I don't. If he's that much older than me, you know, I should be a bit more respectful, not call him buddy."
Nah, you're too nice. You got too much Canadian in you, Sanjay.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. I'm still. I could be the most famous Canadian, by the way. I think you've heard that before.
Yeah,
Anyway, AJ, I lost 125 pounds from 19 to. Wow, man, that's awesome. Definitely glad I got it in early in my life. As time goes, it's definitely tougher. It sure is. It sure is definitely tough. It's not that it's like Actually, it's not that it's tougher. Like for me to lose weight, like I would have to drop the carbs just like Jeff, but like getting toned is tougher, way tougher, way tougher. I mean, you know, we just don't have the bodies that we used to, you know. Thomas, hello there at the Rancher. Great show today. Yep, great show, Thomas. Again, awesome. We were talking about the Rick's appearance on your show earlier. It was awesome. Thanks, man. Thanks for doing the great service that you guys do on the Punters every Sunday. Watch yourself. I broke my wrist, was in the cast for over 2 months, and have to go see a surgeon on Wednesday. It has kept me from keeping my weight in check, as it sucks, hoping to get back in shape soon enough. Yeah, yeah. My buddy Ryan had to have hip surgery, and he was training for, he's competed in triathlons, and he had to go to a nutritionist to drop the calorie intake to help him with a plan because he wasn't active.
oh wow,
So yeah, he had to drop his calories. That's how he was able to do it. But he needed help, you know.
yeah.
Um, White Clothes watches over the last year. I've lost 70 pounds. Awesome. Down to 190. Still bald and wheeze walking upstairs. Pointless. I miss good food. Yeah, man. I got the bald thing too, man. I gotta actually shave my head soon because it's just like now I'm at the point where it totally looks way better shaved than whatever comb over I'm doing up here. But it's quarantine haircut. It's quarantine haircut. Um, Let's go. Keep on going here. Not P saying Seiko prices are worth a video. Mark from Long Island Watch says there is no increase. There just aren't discounts anymore. Okay.
You know, that's a really good point because I've noticed the prices when you compare SKU to SKU,
Mm-hmm.
there is an increase, but it's a very small increase. It's not like you know, a rapid increase like it seems like it is. It's just the watches that have been more publicized have a higher price tag, like you know the SLA 047, which is like $8,000 or $6,000. Sorry, but SKU for SKU, like the Marine Master 200 2 years ago to Marine Master 200 that came out this year is only like $100 or $150
Mm.
more. So there is a price increase, and yeah, the lack of discounts kind of hurts too. But yeah, great point.
All right. We got a movie quote here. Road Tiger. Sanjay, movie quote. Attica, Attica, Attica. Just take a
Gremlins,
guess. Just take a guess.
Gremlins, because they were in the attic or something, right?
Yeah,
Or
but Attica's a prison,
oh,
and the movie was called Attica.
uh,
That's okay, Sanjay. It's all right. You can still call me buddy anytime. Kevin says we're all buddies here. Aw,
Aw,
isn't that?
thanks, Kevin.
Oh wait, but wait. That's right. It was Dog Day Afternoon. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Don't, don't. I'm as bad with the movie quotes. I'm just a little bit better than Sanjay. I would say it was Dog Day Afternoon. That's right. That was a great movie too, by the way. Um, anyway, guys, great show tonight. Um, great videos, great comments. The chat always awesome. Um, Gremlins go to prison. Yeah, yeah, they do. They should. They should. They should definitely. Sanjay, anything coming up in the next few days? Any reviews? Anything
no.
you got planned?
Well, if I can get around to it, I still have to do the deluxe strap reviews that I
Hmm.
want to do because they're so good. Um, but other than that, I just put out a review video on my Railmaster.
Yeah,
Uh,
catch that, guys, for sure.
yeah, thanks. But yeah, other than that, not much planned. Just the Saturday night live stream as usual every
Yeah,
Saturday.
yeah. I'd be interested to see your deluxe strap review. I've heard good things, and I've been looking for a nice strap for my Jaeger and Benzinger. Um, Something blue. The strap that came with was black. I want to do something blue. So, be
Yeah,
really interested to see what you say about them. Um, got a, myself over here. Got a couple of reviews. Show announcement next week. We will not next Sunday night. We will not be doing a watch soup. Instead, Mrs. Legs a few weeks ago has commandeered the time slot, and we will be doing Mrs. Legs and I a Sunday night stream. And so we'll get her on here. She's going to gripe about women's watches and why she hates women's watches, and then whether we're still going to have she's still going to make me cookies or not. We're gonna get into that. Anyway, so next Sunday night, 9 o'clock, please catch a special Mother Day stream with Mrs. Legs. And guys, thanks again for coming by tonight. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.
see you guys.